Hello, everyone. It is Cassandra Terry, your manifesting miracle maker, and it is Thankful Thursday. It is almost the weekend. We've persevered and made it through another week. Good morning, Carol. And today we want to focus on gratitude, really looking at it as a tool, looking at it as a way of life, looking at it as a mindset. Gratitude is something that it doesn't cost you a thing. The more you use, the more you have. I think I just lost some of my I did. My laptop has been giving me the blues. So hold on just 1 second, you guys, on TikTok and Instagram. So hopefully you guys can still hear me on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. That feed went down for a moment, so I'm not sure. We shall see. But Carol, I can see you there. Eric, good morning. I see you there. Welcome. I have a quote for you guys today. I also see you all joining from TikTok, Dash of Blind. I see Clockwork. Looks like Eliza Vita, Bradley. Welcome, everyone. I'll give it just a moment as people are settling in. Good morning, Eric. You just moved over. Well, thanks for joining. I'm not sure. I've run out of invites for the week on LinkedIn, so I'm not even able to invite people to the event. So hopefully it'll hit their screens and they can join that way because they don't get the normal invite until I think I don't free up again until Sunday. Let's see. So, as you guys are joining, today is about gratitude. As I mentioned, I've got a quote to get the day started. Hey, Plantain, it's great to see you. So, Plantain is joining from YouTube, I see. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, I'm glad to see that the different streams are working because my laptop was busted when I opened it up this morning to get started. I had to completely reboot it, and it was going through some repairs. So I wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to use it. But another thing for me to be grateful for, right? Something else to be thankful for, despite the technology. The technology this morning, we are here, and I'm talking to you guys from different parts of the world. Um, all over the place, and it's always great to have an opportunity to do that. So I wanted to start with this quote on Thankful Thursday, and it says, cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you, and to give thanks continuously, and become and because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So when he started the quote, he said, be grateful for every good thing that comes to you. But as he finished it up, he reminded us that everything, no matter what category we put it in, was it traumatic? Was it bad? Was it good? Was it fun? Was it not so fun? Regardless of what category we put that thing in, it has contributed to us becoming who we are today. And because of that, we can be grateful for all things. And when I read that, I was like, yes, that is the quote for Thankful Thursday. Around the way, girl, welcome. Cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you, and to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. And again, that's Ralph Waldo Emerson. I love that quote so much because it really eloquently speaks to what I believe. I have some things in my past that if I was writing the script wouldn't have been there. They would not have been there. I would have done things differently. I would have planned my beginning and some of the things that I've experienced in my life differently. But I'm mature enough to know now that if I changed anything, that I would change everything. That the reason that I'm here, the reason that I see the world the way I do, the reason that I'm compassionate, the reason that I'm loving, the reason that I'm me is because of all of those things. And when we can realize that about our lives, it allows us to start to let go of some of the things that can really be holding us back, some of the things that could really be chaining us to our past. You've already lived through it once. You've already not just lived through it, but you've thrived through it. You've gotten to the other side and you're free if you allow yourself to be free. But when we hold on to the shame, we hold on to the guilt, we hold on to the anger and the blame, and whatever those negative emotions are, they're not so much hurting the people that we're holding them against nearly as much as they're hurting us. Those heavy emotions, especially the things that you're holding against yourself, shame and blame and guilt, those things will start to dictate how you show up in the world. They'll determine how much you smile, they'll determine how you see yourself. Do you see yourself as a person of value? Do you see yourself as a person that's capable? Do you believe that you're deserving of the good things in this life? For some of us, our history has made us believe just the opposite. Well, I was left as a child, or my husband divorced me, or this person cheated on me, or I didn't have a good relationship with this parent or the other parent. They divorced when I was young. Maybe I had a child early. There's all these things that we've experienced in life. And if you've picked yourself up and you've walked through those things and you've done the best that you could with the cards that you've dealt, you owe yourself some grace. You absolutely owe yourself some grace. And you owe yourself a pat on the back for getting to this point. All I'm saying is from here, instead of dragging the weight of that history with you, try to shift your mindset just a little bit. I'm not saying celebrate the fact that bad things happened or that you had difficulties in life and hope for more of that. Absolutely not. But I'm saying if you experienced it, something good did come out of it. You learned something. Maybe you're more resilient. Maybe you're more compassionate. Maybe you have a point of view where you can help somebody else who's about to or is in the middle of what you've already come through. Our lives were really made for service to others in one way or another. But in order for us to really step into that service, in order for us to really step up and step into who we were created to be, we have to start with self. We have to forgive ourselves. We have to get a really good look at who we really are. And the places where we would like for things to be different, we do the work to change them. The things that are good about ourselves, we highlight and celebrate. And that's something that we're just typically not that good at. We walk around and we are so clear about everything that's ever gone wrong, every mistake we've ever made, every time we turned left when we should have turned right. We can recite that stuff song and verse. But when it comes to actually looking at the fullness of who we really are, when it comes to looking at all the things that we've overcome and what we've accomplished in the process, we don't typically look at it that way. The hardest thing that I experienced as a young person was the loss of my grandmother. I talk about her from time to time. There were years where I didn't hardly talk about her at all. It was just too painful. Good morning, Mo. But now, I realize that when I look back at it, I realized one, she was freed from the suffering that she was going through. So that in and of itself was a blessing. But two, she had used the latter years of her life to raise two girls that were not her birth children. We were her grandchildren. And she spent, every day of her life from the time we were born taking care of us in one way or another. We lived with her. And I was so attached to her and appreciative of what she had done that there was no way that I was going to leave and go to college while she was sick. So I look back at that situation and I went, not only was she freed from her pain and her suffering, but I was also freed to begin the next phase of my life and take everything that she had put in me with me. All those lessons. She's living through all the people that she impacted. In that moment, it was hard to see it that way because I was grief stricken. But now that I look back on it, you know, I don't have to look at it with grief. Sure, I miss her physical presence. I wish she got to know her great grandkids and to see the life that I built. And I wish I could, pour some of the physical stuff on this side onto her and spoil her a little bit and all that good stuff. But there's no way that I could spoil her like she's been spoiled since she left here. She has joy in her new home, and she prepared me for the life that was coming, and then she freed me to go off and create it. And so I have a different way of looking at it, so it's not so painful, and I can see the gifts in it. I see the gift in her sacrifice, I see the gift in the lessons that she learned, and I see the grit that I had to have in order to live the life I lived, because it was so foreign from where I came from. So nothing but appreciation, gratefulness, joy. And we can look at all of our situations like that. Some of us have suffered tremendous loss, some of us have suffered abuses. There's all sorts of things, disappointments. There's all sorts of things in different degrees that we hang on to. And you may continue to have the memory of that thing, but I just want you to emotionally be free of the baggage of that thing. And the way you do that is to look at it differently. Instead of just dealing and boiling in the emotion of it all, look at the what did I get from that situation? How am I different now than I was before I had to overcome whatever that thing is? Am I more resilient? Am I stronger than I realized I was? Am I more capable? Am I wiser? What lessons did I get from that difficult experience? And when you focus on the lesson instead of the trauma itself, then you start to let go of some of those negative emotions, and you really can find the gratitude for everything that you've come through, because we are the sum of every experience that we've had, not just parts of them, not just the good ones. We can't look at somebody who's having a difficult time and think they're just the sum of their bad experiences. We are all the sum of every experience that we've had. And then we take from those experiences, baby bone, hello. We take from those experiences and we hopefully learn. And then we take those lessons, we integrate those in our lives, and now we move forward wiser, stronger, smarter, more resilient. Your eyes are wide open to that experience. I bet if it comes around again, you can see it coming. You're different. You know something that you didn't know before. Good morning, Wita, and happy belated birthday. So that's what I want to encourage you to do, is to look at your life a little bit differently. Those low points that every time you think about them, you feel the tightness, those emotions start to well up again. You start to get angry or sad or frustrated. When that's still the case, that means that's an unhealed spot. That's some trauma, some disappointment, some however you categorize it, that you haven't really walked through yet. You're still standing in it. And it could be 40 years ago. But if those emotions still well up every time you think about it, you haven't walked through it. That's a storm that you're still standing in. Storms were not made to be stood in. We are supposed to move through our storms. And when you walk through a storm, there's pressure pushing against you. That pressure that's pushing against you is making you stronger. It's building you up. And you come on the other side and you're like, okay, I did that. And that's what I hope that we can get to, is looking at our lives differently, so that the baggage of the past becomes the lessons and the encouragement and the strength of today. And gratitude will help you do that. The next time you feel those emotions welling up, just take a step back and go and ask yourself, what did I learn from this situation? How am I better because I survived and thrived through this situation? And as you start to identify those things, you find something to be thankful for. And now you're adding to your gratitude list. Do you have a gratitude list? Can you quickly regurgitate the things that you are grateful for? I encourage people to begin and end every day with gratitude. When you wake up first thing in the morning, before you even hit the bed, get out of the bed and run to the bathroom, just take a few minutes and think about two or three things that you're grateful for. And the same thing at the end of the day. As you're going to sleep, right before you drift off, meditate on your day and the best things that happen to you in that day, the things that you're really grateful for in that day. And you start to rewire your brain to look for what's good, to look for what's positive. And as we rewire our brains to do that, that becomes our default way of thinking. And when you're coming from a place of gratitude, when you're coming from a positive mindset, you're much more likely to go into solution mode instead of being stuck in the emotions of whatever you're experiencing. Because we're human. As long as we're still wrapped in this flesh, stuff is going to happen. Life is going to keep lifing. And sometimes it gets tough. So even if you have a positive mindset, I'm not saying that you're going to pretend like everything's good all the time. Not at all. But what I am saying is that you're able to better manage the things that come your way when your mindset is healthy, when your mindset is positive, when you're coming from a place of how can I fix this versus, oh my God, this is so horrible. When you see just the trauma of it, when you see just the stress and the frustration, all you're going to see is more stress and frustration. But when you can step outside of that for just a moment, when you can just step away from that and give yourself a little space to think, and you start to think about what's the solution here? What are things that I can try to make the situation better? Who should I talk to that will build me up? Where's my support system? Who's the right person for this situation for me to plug into? What should I do next? What's the best thing for me to do? And sometimes that's nothing. Sometimes you just need a moment. You need to give yourself that pause to allow the emotions to settle down and to allow yourself to get to a place of where you can be more where you can contemplate and you can really think about the best action to do. Sometimes those triggers, when we immediately respond, that we're just kind of we're really not responding, we're reacting, and we're in an emotional state, and our emotions will take us places we really don't want to go. So you have to give yourself a moment to let that settle down a bit and let the brain kick in. And now when you got the brain and the heart working together, you can respond to a situation instead of reacting to the situation. You don't want to give just an emotional reaction. You want to respond, and that takes a breath. Take a beat. How and you decide when you're ready. Sometimes I talk about some of the I was really mad at my husband one time when we were shopping, and I didn't know why I had such a big reaction to something so small that he said, but I was mad. But I didn't talk to him about how mad I was because I didn't understand it myself. I had to sit in that emotion for a little bit and to just think to myself, what's coming up? What's happening? Why is this such a big deal to me today? What's going on? And then once I figured that out, I was able to have an intelligent conversation with him and explain to him how I'm wired in that situation and why something that was so small to him was something that was really hurtful to me. And once we had that conversation, now he knows, and I'm more aware too. So I can keep doing some internal work to strengthen that space. And in the meantime, he's aware so he doesn't keep poking at the sore spot. But I wouldn't have been able to have the same type of conversation with him if I'd had it in the moment. I was mad, my little feelings were hurt, and I was going to come from that place, and I was going to come from, attack mode. That's reacting. But because I gave myself a moment and I allowed myself to think and to try and gain understanding of why I was reacting the way I was reacting, when it was time to have that conversation with them, it was more of a response than a reaction. And it was something that he could receive because he wasn't being attacked. And so that's what that pause will do for us. So I just wanted to encourage you guys to get a little bit today. Thankful Thursday is one of my favorite days of the week. We all can have as much gratitude as we want. It doesn't cost a dime. And the more you give, the more you receive. So you'll never run out of it. So let me share as I'm wrapping up the quote one more time. And it's cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that has come to you and give thanks continuously. And then here's the kicker. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So he pulls us in, and we can buy in the beginning. He's talking about good stuff. It's easy to be grateful for the good things that have come our way. We can be grateful. We can give thanks for that. But then he gave us a little curveball. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. And that's really what it's all about. Understanding that every experience that you have led to you being the great individual that you are today. So you can find gratitude in all things. So that is it for today, guys. And that's really wrapping up, I think, the week for me. Usually on Fridays, I do Focus Friday, but I've got a meeting at this time in the morning for work, and I'm preparing to speak at a conference on Saturday. So tomorrow is going to be a little bit of a whirlwind, so I probably won't have a Focus Friday. I will look through, what I will do is I'll look through the previous recordings, and I'll find a good one from way back and bring that, and I'll do a replay. So I'll remember to do that this evening. So I will post a replay for Focus Friday, but I won't be live. My schedule just is too hectic tomorrow. And one of the things I'm learning to do is to say no and to be okay with it. And I encourage you to do the same. Self care is so important. And sometimes I'm trying to do so many things for myself and for so many people and cover so many bases that by the time the day ends, I'm just worn out. So I'm taking my own advice, and I won't be live tomorrow, but I will upload a video for you guys on Focus Friday. All right. So you all have a wonderful rest of your Thursday and the rest of your week. I'm Cassandra Terry, manifesting miracle maker, life coach that focuses on mindset. If you're interested or you feel like you need to do some work in that space, I have a free online mini course, Transforming Your Inner Critic into Your Inner Advocate. That will introduce you to my coaching style and to the concepts that I talk about here regularly, give you a little bit more and some practice in reframing those negative messages. That is available to anyone at any time online. You can work on it self-paced. It's pretty quick to get through, and like I said, there's no charge. And if you're interested and you feel like you're in a place where you need a coach, that's where I come in. I am here. I'm available. And willing to help work through what you feel like you need. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much. And I will see you Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday is when I'll be live again for sure. We'll see about Monday. So, with that, have a wonderful weekend. Be thankful, be grateful. And when you start to feel stressed out during the day, just stop for a moment and go, what am I thankful for? And that will help you get back on track emotionally. Thank you, Eric. I see all the butterflies. I love them. Love you guys. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.